Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview Sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.
Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by Jeff Klein, founder of speakercoop.com. Like a Sherpa guiding climbers up the mountain, Jeff Klein offers laser-focused mentoring to guide speakers to their own peaks. He's been coaching speakers since 2006. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us.
I'm glad to be here, Seth. You are most welcome.
All right, so let's go back in time a little bit. How did you become a coach, mentor, and trainer of speakers?
Well, I started by speaking myself and making lots of mistakes. My business at the time was an advertising agency. And I started speaking when I got involved with a group called CEO Space.
Yep.
And I was a mentor there, and I was working with folks. We had a lunch every Friday where we taught the elevator pitch. And then we had a weekly preview in the evenings, and I wound up doing some speaking there as well. And somebody said, "Hey, Jeff, will you come do that 30-second lesson at our networking group?" And I went, "Okay." And I checked with our leader, and it was fine with them, and went forward. And then somebody said, "Well, why don't you come speak to our group and do the same thing?" And I recognized that I was helping my business, and I was helping CEO Space as well. And once or twice a month, I was being asked to speak on the elevator pitch. And then I realized I was actually also a vendor member of the local National Speakers Association chapter at the time. But unlike the other vendors, I stayed in the meeting instead of out in the hall, and I was getting education about being a professional speaker at the same time as I was venturing into speaking out in the real world, and sort of a convergence thing. And I was learning from the professional speakers, and I was learning from my experiences. And a couple years later, I was sitting down to lunch with some people who were doing the same thing I was, speaking to get business. And we were brainstorming about how to get in front of more people. And I said, "Why don't we have a lunch? And then we can invite all the people we know doing the same thing." And they said, "Great idea, Jeff. Why don't you have a lunch and we'll support you?" And the truth is, it wouldn't have happened without their support. I was just the one who jumped on the hand grenade. And
awesome.
Yeah, and then a couple months in, well, our first meeting, we had 50 people. So something was going on.
I was going to say, that's a good turnout for meeting number one.
And then a couple months later, somebody said, "Hey, we should have a website. You do websites, don't you, Jeff?" And
you just kept getting voluntold.
There you go, exactly. And speakercoop.com was born.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. The longer version should be in a book somewhere.
It's in process.
In process. Awesome. We could certainly talk about that. All right. So when you help speakers, you're not just helping who we stereotypically think of as a speaker, like the guy who wants to be the next Tony Robbins. Exactly. You're helping all different kinds of folks present and speak better. So talk a little bit about the types of folks in different walks of life you're helping.
Sure. The main niche for Speaker Co-op, and we attract all kinds of speakers, but the main niche is somebody who speaks to get clients and leads. And they're not interested in becoming a public speaker as their new job title. They're not interested in being famous for speaking. They might be interested in being famous for architecture or law or something else, but their job title will never become speaker. it may be on their business card as the second or third thing they do, but their job title is accountant, consultant, coach,
Financial advisor, chiropractor.
exactly, landscaper. I mean, you name. We had a storm chaser that is.
Wow.
Yeah, we had
That's not a niche I would have ever guessed.
Yep. And he's got a beautiful book of storm pictures. It's amazing.
Okay,
And,
so what are they coming to you for? What do they say when they come talk to you, or when they talk to you via Zoom or on the phone or wherever?
yeah.
What is their problem that they're saying, hey, Jeff, I need help with X? How do they phrase it?
Yeah, there's two things that people who are speaking for business need. One is more audiences, and two is more results. And if they're speaking enough and not getting enough results, I can help them with that. And if they're not speaking enough, I can help them with that.
Okay, so because you do both of those things, let's talk about both of those.
You bet.
So obviously the sexy lead gen is, ooh, I want to speak in front of more audiences because I think I do a good job, which we'll talk about if that's true or not in just a minute. But how do you get them more speaking opportunities?
We actually have a booking program. It's invitation only. So it's, again, it's only people that I know are ready to be getting booked more.
So you're vetting them and making sure that they are actually a half decent speaker, and will do
Exactly.
it whatever the venue is. It might be online,
Correct.
but you're not taking someone who reads from their notes and never looks up.
Exactly. And we have a website that's available for anybody who speaks can join at one of our 3 member levels and be on the website. But for the booking program, that's invitation only, so I can vet those people. And some of them are ready to be trained to be good enough to be booked. And some of them are ready to be booked pretty much right away.
Okay, so how do you determine if someone's ready or not? What is your evaluation criteria or process? How does that work?
It starts with a personal conversation just like this over Zoom or over coffee. And I can get a pretty good read on somebody, if they're able to communicate well in one-on-one, then they can, as long as they don't have a fear of an audience, then they'll be able to communicate well in one-to-many. But I also look at their videos, and if somebody is really new and doesn't have a video yet, they probably need the other part of the coaching anyway.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue. So let's talk about how you help people who are going to speak improve their ability to deliver not only a speech that resonates with the audience, but that actually generates results. Because a standing ovation might be nice for your ego, but it doesn't put any money in your bank account.
Absolutely. One of my taglines is money after the applause.
That's great. That's a good elevator speech. I help you get the money after the applause. I love it.
Yeah. So usually it's just a little bit of tweaking on what they're delivering. If they're delivering content that solves a problem and they're giving value to the audience, the only other thing they need is a way to close and turn that into a sale. But a lot of people are missing the first part. They're great at telling you about what they do, and they're great at telling you fun stories, and the audience may laugh and the audience may cry, but they're not relating it to something the audience needs help with.
Okay, so talk about how you help them build that bridge.
We actually do an exercise where we lay out what problems do you solve and for whom.
Okay, so we're identifying what they do and who they do it for.
Exactly. And what happens on that path sometimes it can be frustrating for the speaker, because a big part of the exercise is a so what.
Narrowing it down. Yeah, so what?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I do. Well, who cares? Okay.
Yeah, how do you actually change someone's life? Because making more money is not changing someone's life. It's what the money means. It's helping them their kids go to college, helping them buy the car of their dreams, helping them take that vacation, whatever the case may be.
The end result that they can get emotionally attached to and excited about, because just the vague nebulous concept, I want more money, great, here's $1, doesn't necessarily get anyone excited, but hey, follow my 7-step process and I'll cut your kid's college bill in half so that you can still afford to retire is much more compelling.
Yep. And usually it's money and time. And time is you get to go to your kid's soccer game. You get to have a better relationship with your significant other. You get to eat dinner with your family.
I have a mentor who taught me that you're either selling vitamins or painkillers, and he broke it up 4 spots, and it was stay out of jail, avoid, have a better life, and the other, and those have a better life is a vitamin. You don't have to have it. It's
Right.
much harder to sell a vitamin than it is to sell you're in pain, take this prescription. Because
Yes.
vitamins are preventative. They're nice to haves, even though all the vitamin people would disagree, you don't have to. The doctors would say it's much easier, look at the size of the industry, much easier to sell prescribed pharmaceutical drugs than it is to get someone to take the 12 supplements my wife takes every day.
Right. Treat the symptoms instead of the problem.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest mistakes that professionals are making that make you cringe? You seem like, oh my God, I can't believe that guy did that in his speech. If only he had known X, Y, and Z.
The first one that pops to mind, Seth, is somebody who takes a chunk of time justifying their existence and telling us why they're the expert. The fact is, when you get up in front of a room, everybody in that room considers you an expert because you're in front of the room.
So that's interesting. So are you saying I shouldn't give my bio in my speech, or are you saying I should deliver it differently?
You should deliver it differently.
Okay.
So you have a bio that is used to promote your speaking engagement that goes out to the club's newsletter or what have you.
It says, hey,
and then
come
you have
see Seth speak.
Right. And then you have a written introduction that lays out a couple of other things about you, but different than the bio. And then your talk, instead of saying, I spent 20 years at IBM and blah, 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 you talk about, when I was working with client X during my 20 years at IBM, here's what we did and here's what happened.
Okay, so you're delivering it in a more storytelling context with relevant action items, things to inspire and take action on for the audience that gets them to relate to that, as opposed to just a statement of, here's the bullets from my resume that no one cares about yet.
Exactly.
Okay, so your passion is obvious with what do you like best about what you do?
When I'm either working with somebody one-on-one or speaking myself.
Okay, and how many speakers are in the speaker co-op universe at this point?
We've got over 100 folks on the website, and I have 15 people in the booking program currently.
Okay, awesome. With all the success you've achieved, what's your biggest challenge now to get into whatever the next level is for you?
It's scale, because right now I'm still one guy.
Aha, so you are physically delivering everything. And obviously there's only so many hours in the day, because you might want to get to a soccer game too.
Exactly. And my next hire will be somebody to help me with the actual bookings.
Got it. Okay, we should talk about that. Okay, so you've also productized your knowledge though.
Yes.
People can consume Jeff without Jeff. Talk a little bit about some of the books and the products that they can get access to that isn't one-on-one with you.
You bet. I have a do-it-yourself program. It's called Pathway to Profits, and it's available at needtoknowtraining.com. And I use the same video in my Do It With You program, of course, but it is available as a do-it-yourself product that people can use and run with. The 9 Laws to Business Speaking Success is also a video at that same website. And that's the title of my book that should be out by the end of the year.
Awesome. Super excited for that. I'll be second in line to get a copy of that.
Yeah, mom is first.
She always is. My mom still complains about the typos in my first book. She's still not over that, even though that book has generated hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue. All right, so let's talk about the magical transformation. So you're talking about how you're helping these folks. Can you give us an example of, this was John, if his name's confidential, that's fine. This was Mr. Jones. Here's what he came to me, what he wanted to do. Here's what we did for him, and here's what his result was.
Client was in the fitness industry. Bobby was actually speaking for the American Heart Association. And he spoke over 500 times to promote the Heart Association, but he hadn't been speaking for his business. So he hired me to help him with that piece. And he said halfway through my training video, he clued into some things that he knew would help him sell when he spoke. And of course, the first time out of the gate, he made some sales at his first book, the first booking I sent him to.
That was awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
For our folks who are watching and listening and want to learn more about the Speaker Co-op and all things Jeff, where is the best place for us to send them?
Speakercoop.com would be the easy answer. And my email, jeff@speakercoop.com.
Awesome. You're making it easy.
You bet. There's a list of training programs, as well as the site is primarily meant for meeting planners to find speakers.
Got it. So how do I, if I'm a speaker and I want to get more gigs, for lack of a better term, and I can't avail myself of your booking service, how can I get more opportunities just in my local market?
You bet. Well, first of all, if you're speaking, if you want to be in front of audiences, you need to put yourself somewhere where those volunteer program people will find you. And our website is just one of those places. But you need to add on your social media, you need to be branded as somebody who speaks. So if you're, let's say you're an IT consultant, and you need to have a page on Facebook that says Billy Bob IT consultant, or Billy Bob IT speaker.
Right.
And a speaker page on your website.
Awesome. I know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate it. What else do you want to share that I didn't think to ask you yet?
You know, that's one of my favorite questions to ask.
I stole it from you.
Let's see. I think that we also are here to help those people who aren't ready to be in front of an audience yet. We have programs to help people with that fear of public speaking that is a real thing. So we want to help folks on the entire spectrum of speaking needs. And it starts with somebody who's afraid to be in front of an audience for various reasons. We can help them with that. If you're out there and you're, as we talked about, applause without revenue, money after the applause, there's a lot of those people.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen them.
And there's two things they're doing. They're doing one of two things wrong. They're not giving enough value, or they're giving too much value.
Yep, and it's the audience feels they're good. It's not useful but incomplete, so that they have to take action to close the loop, so to speak.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, we greatly appreciate your time. This has been Seth Greene for Sharkpreneur with Jeff Klein of SpeakerCoop.com. Jeff, thanks so much.
I'm thrilled. Thank you so much. You are welcome, Seth.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.